Watching his figure, Sung Darensu suddenly felt that their junior brother seemed a bit lonely. He sighed, shook his head, and turned back towards the cave. As he entered the forest, darkness seemed to rush from its depths, enveloping his figure. Zhang Xiaofan paused for a moment, feeling a chill down his spine. But after a while, his eyes gradually adjusted to the forest's environment. The remaining moonlight above still filtered through the dense foliage, casting faint glimmers in the emptiness. Everything in the forest was eerily quiet. No birds chirped, no beasts rustled. Not even the usual faint chirping of insects could be heard on this night. Towering trees stood solemnly in the darkness, like silent warriors. Only the sound of the wind, the sea breeze blowing from the distant ocean swept over the forest canopy, rustling the treetops. In the dim and deep forest, a young man walked alone. Zhang Xiaofan's thoughts drifted, recalling distant memories amidst the deep forest and silent night. Under the dim light of a lamp, he, still a child, nestled in his mother's arms, staring wide-eyed at the night outside with a faint sense of fear. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, shook his head, and quickened his pace forward. However, he didn't notice that as he walked, two red orbs, glowing with a fiery resentment, silently lit up in the darkness along his path, like the furious gaze of a person. Tia Bai furrowed his brows, growing impatient. What's taking him so long? So you glanced at him and said, before saying, from what I know, senior brother Zhanmen has been focused on his Dao cultivation in recent years, gradually distancing himself. His reputation is second only to senior brother ZhuXian. Originally, it seemed unquestionable that Xiao Yikai would succeed as the sect leader, but now, it seems there are some doubts, Tia Bai said lightly. Moreover, for the past 200 years, King Song has been in charge of the sect's disciplinary matters, wielding considerable authority. Apart from senior brother ZhuXian, he doesn't seem to hold anyone else in high regard. Xiao Yi's concerns are normal. So you lowered her head, then spoke after a while. Bai, this contest for the position of sect leader is quite significant. Don't get too deeply involved. Tia Bai shook his head. I understand, but as the head of our branch, how can I avoid it? Since Xiao Yikai has shown goodwill to me today, it's probably to leave a bit of face for the future competition. Anyway, we'll just have to take it one step at a time. So you sighed and nodded. We have no other choice. Suddenly, a howl emanated from the depths of the forest, a chilly wind blowing through. Zhang Xiaofan felt a chill down his spine as he looked up at the swinging shadows of the trees, feeling a sense of unease. However, he quickly shook it off, laughing at himself for being ridiculous, and continued walking forward. Suddenly, behind him, the sound of ghostly wails echoed, sending shivers down his spine. Zhang Xiaofan turned around, his face turning pale as he saw in the darkness behind him a skull glowing with dim red light, hovering in midair, spinning incessantly. Amidst the ghostly cries, the red skull gradually stopped, facing Zhang Xiaofan directly. He couldn't help but shiver as he noticed what seemed like faint flames flickering in its sunken eye sockets. After a moment, two figures slowly rose behind the ghostly object. Illuminated by the red glow of the skull, Zhang Xiaofan saw one of them was a tall, thin old man, his face grotesque and haggard, almost skeletal. His eyes glared fiercely at Zhang Xiaofan, brimming with resentment. The other figure, however, appeared rather disheveled. Though tall, he was held helplessly in the old man's grip, his face full of resignation and despair. Zhang Xiaofan squinted, surprised. Isn't that? The person seemed familiar, someone he had encountered at the Wanfu ancient cave under Kong Mountain, and whom he had seen several times during their stay at Liubo Mountain. The wild dog Taoist. He was being held by the old man's right hand by the collar, his face filled with sorrow. But as soon as he caught sight of Zhang Xiaofan, he looked at him in surprise, pointing and exclaiming, "Ah, it's him, it's him." Startled by the wild dog Taoist's continuous pointing, Zhang Xiaofan didn't know what to make of it. But before he could react, the old man glared at him fiercely, his voice harsh and hoarse as he asked the wild dog Taoist, "Is this the little brat from Qingyun?" The wild dog Taoist nodded vigorously, repeating, "Yes, yes, it's him, the blood-sucking predecessor. It's this bastard who killed your only disciple, the blood-sucking vampire ZhuXian."